everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to respond to a couple things that I heard in the comments, or I read in the comments rather. One was about I made a remark in a previous video about women not standing for the bullshit of trans men competing against them and stuff. And somebody said that women are afraid to get canceled and the repercussions of boycotting those events if they chose to do so. That points to another one of my main issues I have that I've been kind of harping on throughout my videos, is that it's unity that gives us strength. One woman boycotting this shit isn't going to do anything. It's just going to get her in trouble. It's going to get her canceled. I understand that perfectly, 100%. That one woman should not stand up and boycott it by themselves. They should just get beaten by men. So, I'm not arguing that. My point is that all women, every woman across Western civilization should boycott this bullshit. They can't cancel women. They can cancel a woman. They can't cancel women. All right? All I can do is speak out against it, not support any businesses, any corporations that support this kind of shit. It's completely wrong in every aspect, every way that I can think of. Nothing is right about it. It's laughable. It's hilarious if you look at it from one angle, that men are just going in there and beating up women and lifting weights and winning their trophies and outrunning them, outswimming them, whatever. That it's happening is actually hilarious in one aspect, but in another aspect, and if you're embroiled in it and this is happening to you and you've worked your entire life for this, for a shot at the Olympics or, a school scholarship or something, and it's just being taken away from you because a man is just genetically superior in that category. Women are superior in a lot of categories. I could just make a list of all the ways that women are superior to men. So that's not it. But if you look at it and with real objective truth and facts, right, then it's just plain obvious that men are superior in these physical arenas. Why aren't women coming over doing the same thing to men and dominating in men's sports? Why aren't women claiming to be men and upsetting men by going into their bathrooms, and upsetting men by going into their locker rooms, and upsetting men by taking their trophies? Why isn't it equal? If it's so equal, why isn't it equal? Why isn't it equally happening both directions? If there's no difference. Of course, the answer is there's a huge difference. That's why. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say so. It's ridiculous on its face. It's ridiculous from every angle. And all women should refuse to comply, refuse to compete, all women at the same time, and shut that shit down. It would only take a week. We wouldn't even be talking about it today if women had just done that in the beginning. The first time it happened, just squash that shit. Women had the power to do it. They still do, but they're not using it. And that's my point. Across everything, we have the power. As a group, as a people, we have the power. The powers that be don't have the power. They're just making us believe that we don't have it. It's like those elephant trainers or those lion trainers, those lion tamers and those tiger, they get the whip and the stuff and they trick the elephant or the lion into believing that they have the power when in actuality the elephant could just stomp on the trainer and stomp through the crowd and walk right out of that tent anytime it wants to. That's us. We're the elephant. We're the lion. We could just maul the trainer anytime we feel like it. We just have to wake up and realize that we can. We might take a couple of lashes of the whip. Yeah. It might not be completely painless. Yeah, I'm not saying it would be completely painless, but I'm just saying it's possible. It's true. That's all I'm saying. The people have the power. The women have the power. And before I forget, on an off topic, I posted another video, but it got taken down by YouTube because I said some stuff about population reduction. And anyway, I put a video up and it got taken down by YouTube because I said some stuff. And I didn't say some horrible stuff, but I didn't even think it was anything wrong with what I said. But YouTube didn't like it, so it got taken down. Hopefully this one won't. This whole trans thing, in a way, is just a big smokescreen, a big camouflage, because regular straight dudes can just claim they're trans now. Regular straight dudes they're all over these lesbian dating sites and stuff. They just put on a wig and say they're trans, and they got some kind of lesbian fetish or something, so they're and they don't want to date other trans dudes. They just want to date lesbian women. They're straight dudes, basically, who say they're trans. They're not going to get surgeries or anything. They're just... So that's the kind of stuff that's going on with this whole trans movement. It's just like a sexual fetish thing that's being promoted and being normalized, and these men are taking advantage of it, right? They get access to women's locker rooms, women's bathrooms, they get access to lesbian dating sites, they get access to all this stuff in the name of trans rights. Now, what rights do I have that trans people don't? Am I missing something here? Or are there restaurants across the country where trans people aren't allowed to eat? Are there, laws against trans people voting or speaking in public, or whatever, owning land? Trans people can't buy a piece of property. I don't know where these rights are that these trans people don't have. That's not true, because I know that trans people have the same exact rights as me. That's just a different way of saying it. So this whole trans rights, because if you put rights after it, then, you're bad if you don't support that. You're a bad person if you don't support somebody else's rights. Holy shit. You're horrible. You're a right-wing extremist. You're a Nazi if you don't support somebody's rights. Right? So that's why they use the word, just so they can kowtow and throw insults at people and heckle and defame people and cancel and all this stuff, people who don't agree with that, who don't support that. You have to support other people's rights. That's just good. That's what good people do. I'm just wondering, I'd like one trans rights supporter to tell me what rights that I'm supposed to be supporting. What rights are they missing that normal people don't have? What rights are they missing? So, just in my opinion, this whole trans thing is a smokescreen for a lot of people. Now, there are trans people who are confused or born a certain way or whatever. I'm not a doctor. I don't know all the technical details of it, but I'm sure that there are trans people there. And they deserve respect and dignity just like everybody else. But all of these liberal, weak men flocking to this trans banner to get their jollies, their what's that called? Their fetishes and stuff satisfied. That's wrong. And that's what most of this is. Most of these people who are competing in women's sports and getting on these lesbian dating apps and stuff, these are just straight dudes who claim to be women. They're just dudes. That's all. With very low morals, no self-esteem, no character, no empathy for women, no concern for women's spaces, no concern for women's sports, no concern for women, nothing. They don't give a shit about a woman. They're just a straight guy taking advantage of this trans movement. And that's a lot of what I see. A lot of this trans movement is that. And that is just, that's not okay. It's not okay for real trans people, and it's not okay for women. In a complete reversal of women's suffering, the only ones who aren't being affected by this are straight dudes, right? They have women convinced that they're supposed to support all this trans stuff. And they do, these young women do, and then they turn around and talk about how hard it is for women to find a good mate, a good boyfriend, a good girl, a good husband, a good boyfriend, whatever. Right? But they're supporting men transitioning into women. So lowering the population of men and increasing the population of women. That right there makes it harder for them to find a decent dude, because they're lowering their odds of doing so statistically just by the numbers. And they will actually get angry with you and argue with you if you say that you don't want to date a trans dude. You don't want to date someone who has the gear of a male. They'll get mad. They won't date you because you won't date another dude. It is completely out of this world crazy. And these younger women, they're just brainwashed into this crap, and they're hurting themselves. It's insane. And I have no respect for any guy who's playing into this trans shit to get his rocks off. Absolutely zero respect, and that's why this whole trans movement is a joke. Not because of trans people, because of straight weak-ass dudes who are taking advantage of it and don't mind dressing up like a girl and able to get his kicks. That's what's wrong with it. And not to mention the transitioning and the mutilation of children. That's a whole nother subject. That's so wrong that I probably can't even talk about it a lot here on YouTube, because my video will get taken down again. Hopefully this one won't, like I said, but we'll see. This stuff needs to be talked about. This stuff needs to be understood. It needs to be discussed. It needs to be ridiculed and taken out with the trash. And like I said, I can't say it enough. It's not about trans people. It's about the people taking advantage of the trans people, taking advantage of the trans movement, the minor attracted people, the MAPs. These are just... it's just wrong. So that's where I stand on that. When women get tired enough of this crap, women will put an end to it. Women will stand up together. They've done it in the past. Women's suffrage, they got the right to vote. Not because one woman stood up and got took a beating and everybody finally saw how bad she suffered, and no, because all women stood up together and said, we want the right to vote. We're going to vote. That's how women got the right to vote. Now, how women will get the right to enjoy women's sports again without dudes interfering, how women will have safe spaces again without dudes walking in on them, it'll take all women, or a large percentage, a large group, big enough to make a difference. Because y'all have the power. The power is yours. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to become a member of Gen X Thinks, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate that as well. Thank you. If you're interested in Gen X gear, I'll put the link to Redbubble down in the description. We got all kinds of cool Gen X and Gen X Thinks branded stuff over there. Feel free to go check that out. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.